like this person who I was having a conversation with,
Mhm.
and you're presented with all of this pressure at once in this new season that you're walking into, how do you actually train your mind to stay stable when it seems like instability?
It's a great question. I think the immediate go-tos you hear, lean into doing the hard things first. So when you listen to, most people know David Goggins. He's the mental toughness guru, and he tells you to do the hard thing first thing in the morning. Let's get up and work out, do your 5K run, take a cold shower. Those things are intentional because it trains your brain to function under pressure. So that's why they tell you to do the extra rep. But there are a few things that I've had to learn within the last couple of years that I think have been extremely helpful. And I think the best one that has helped me is actually imagining yourself. It's mentally rehearsing being in an uncomfortable position. That way, your brain can still have the ability to have contingencies. Well, you
Whoa.
remember we talked about being in a predictable environment?
I love this. Are you saying that these are daily habits that you can create?
Yes,
Okay, I'm
yes.
listening.
Because nothing is ever going to stay the same.
Talk to us.
Change is inevitable. And when your team is thrown off, you as the leader can stay calm under pressure because you've anticipated things going wrong and you have contingencies already in your back pocket.
This is good.
I think the second thing that would be helpful is self talk. You actually have to practice talking well to yourself and asking yourself. It's not necessarily positive talk and negative talk. It's really, am what I'm telling myself healthy right now? Is it helping me? Is it going to help me get through whatever the confrontation is? And if you can reframe whatever the anger or the the frustration is, can you reframe it? Think about it for a second and then bounce back. Practice bouncing back faster.
So, in the presence of that, what does the inner conversation look like? What is it saying?
At the start, if we're honest, a lot of times it's like, hey, I messed up again, or I keep getting it wrong. Is everyone judging me as a leader because you feel this pressure to be right all the time and handle things the right way to come up with the brand new idea that everyone loves? And that's an unnecessary pressure you put on yourself. So you have to ask yourself, is this true? I don't have to be right. No, I don't have to come up with a new idea. It's okay that we messed up. We can figure out a new route. And we can come up with a better, bigger plan. And so it's just shifting whatever that inner dialogue is at the moment because if we're all humans, we're going to have those
Yeah.
moments where, you kind of go in on yourself for a second, guess your behavior or your decisions. Okay, but how can I reframe it to help me now so that we can move the mission forward? I want the team to feel safe when they're around me.
Babe, I absolutely love this. I think of David in the Bible, the
Hmm.
psalmist, when he said, "What can mere men do to me?" So if everything that I do or that we do is connected to people or connected to solving a problem for people,
Hmm.
if it's time for me to produce in the midst of pressure, I go down this checklist
Okay.
and I start asking myself questions. Why am I afraid?
Yes.
And if it's associated with pleasing someone or making sure someone thinks of me a certain way,
Hmm.
I start having that rebuttal or retort to that internal conversation that's telling me I should appease this moment to appease someone else.
Yeah, I love that.
What can mere men do to me? So I need to stand and operate, but I also need to tell myself, like you said, what helps me in this moment? If my end goal or the goal is growth, why am I waiting for them to approve?
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that celebration is not wanted or warranted. But at the same time, I can't bankrupt my energy, my emotions,
Yeah.
my stability, and my mind capability and capacity on the basis of getting credit that I already have.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I start with this person did not define, did not destine. This person or this individual or this situation did not call me.
Mm.
There was no answering machine when God called me. And some of you guys don't know what an answering machine is. It's when someone called, and before we have voicemails,
Oh my
it
goodness.
was a little box that you would run home to, and
Absolutely.
then you would hit play, and then you would hit repeat, or you hit delete. They didn't answer the call.
Ah.
There's no answering machine. And sometimes the machinations of people and their makeup and how they would like to treat you like a machine,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not the manufacturer.
Wow.
The answer is not to be treated like a machine or a cog built in the system that someone would like to acquire or to ascend to,
Mm.
all but to leave you in this state of pressure, in this state of mind,
Mm.
possibly wanting to collapse. But how do I stand? I tell myself it didn't start with that individual or the thing that I'm desiring to do or to become. It didn't start there, so it doesn't end there.
That's good.
That list of contingencies and credibility and capacity that has gotten me to this point should tell me that I may not know what this looks like, but I've been able to function and produce under pressure before because of that muscle,
Yes.
because of daily habits,
Yes.
because of things that I've experienced before. And that's relative because if you've been in a situation on your scale 1 to
Mm-hmm.
10, and now you're in a different environment and it's a different scale, it may be a 10 for someone else, but it may be a
Yeah.
2 for you now,
Absolutely.
just based on the weight.
Yeah.
So when you're able to produce in the midst of pressure in a previous season,
Mm-hmm.
it produces something for you for the next. It produces something in you so that you can have that formidable, unassailable, immovable stance
Mm-hmm.
to produce in the season that you're in now. So if there's no answering machine or I'm not a cog in somebody's manufactured machine or
Mm-hmm.
machinery, I'm standing in the midst of pressure and I'm saying, Charles, do you know who you belong to?
Mm.
And you've produced probably not at this level before, but you've actually produced in the presence of pressure. So I need you to produce here. And I'm working through these moments and occurrences. I tell myself, you actually have something to add. You have something to offer. You have something that's different. So I don't want to collapse under pressure. So I'm telling myself, you actually have something to add. That's the takeaway. The takeaway, Charles, is you have something to add in this moment. And in this moment, what can mere man do to me?
Wow.
So if the end goal is growth, it shouldn't be at the beck and call of someone who didn't answer the call. You answered the call. There was no answering machine. So the pressure is actually producing something and it gets you to the place of promotion. But promotion is not something you arrive at, it's something that you're positioned in.
Say
And
that
you
one more time.
actually
I'm sorry. You
so
just can't go past that really fast. Say that one more time.
so promotion is not something that you arrive at, it's something that you're positioned in.
Wow.
Because destiny is not a destination, it's a pursuit. Once you get there, there'll be another get there. So once you arrive, that's not the end. You're positioned in it to produce under pressure.
Mm-hmm.
But without that pressure, how can you handle the promotion? So that pressure is really cooking. It's pressure cooking. It's pressure building. It's pressure guiding. It's pressure developing so that you can handle the space that God has intended, that destiny has arranged.
So would you say the goal isn't, I know this could be a big topic in leadership. The goal is not perfection Or how do you separate the inner dialogue of perfection and excellence? And when that doesn't happen in the moment, what does that look like? Because perfection is the enemy of creativity.
For me, the goal is producing because the Bible says, judge a tree by its fruit.
Mm.
So you judge a tree by what it produces, not how pretty the fruit is. You judge it by what it produces. So nothing is perfect. For me, the goal is not perfection. And I'm an excellence driven individual,
Mm-hmm.
but it's to produce and it's to help others to get out of the state of potential so that they can be actualized in their purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm steady in the presence of pressure,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing this just for me. I do need to produce because if the goal is growth, growth means productivity. The Bible says judge a tree by its fruit. So judge a tree by what it produces. A tree is not perfect.
It's not. Never thought of it.
I've never seen a perfect upright tree. For me, if the goal is growth,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm steady when things are unstable,
Mm-hmm.
it not only helps me, but it helps the person who's watching. It helps the person who's asking me these questions. And I'm discovering answers as we're talking. This person says, it's like, I've seen you go through stuff and it just seems like you're unbothered.
Totally.
And I was like, well, thank you for the compliment, but sometimes you don't see yourself. You're just operating in it from past seasons of being in the fire, under pressure. Under pressure.
Under pressure.
do. And you feel some sort of relief from the compliment.
Mm-hmm.
But in that moment, you're realizing this is what it looks like when you create daily habits. When you show up and you produce, even in the presence of pressure.
Yeah.
When you're that calm in the storm. And what I don't allow is if someone brings me a 10, even if it is a 10,
Mm-hmm.
I don't treat it like a 10. So if someone comes to me and they're anxious and they're saying, I want you to know, and I want you to know, and I'm like, okay. Right, let's talk through it. All right, okay, yes. Let's work through this.
I have a few situations I'm thinking of right now.
And I purposely put myself in a posture, in a position. My internal talk is, we can handle this. God, give me wisdom. Give me acumen for this situation. Lord, I thank you for aptitude. And then I also pull from stuff that I did before.
Okay.
But if you bring me a 10, I'm trying to treat it like a 2. And it doesn't take away from the emotional impact of what that 10 is. I have to bring some stability in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
and some ease and some levity and some calmness.
Mm-hmm.
So if I meet them at that 10, I don't think it'll stay a 10.
Yeah.
Because there's power in agreement. If I begin to agree with the 10 and I add to the 10, it doesn't stay a 10. If you're bringing this in at a 10, how can I, under pressure, again, tell myself, we can do this? So if I'm leading a team and someone brings me a 10 and my response to them stays at a 10 or takes it off the scale, then I believe it can become counterproductive.
That makes sense. So you're basically saying you could just, as you bring it down, you can just give them the bullet points or the facts without oversharing.
Yeah. You can empathize, but I think it becomes counterproductive when you overshare based on the situation or the individual or where they are in their walk of growing and growth, because you can actually harm someone if you give them too much at the wrong time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say, I think one thing I've learned from you is that you limit your input, how much you take in. So if so many people have come to you about a conversation or a situation, at some point you're going to put a stop to it because you're protecting yourself. And at the same time, you're protecting them. Hey, we're not going to sit in this. Do you have a solution about it? Yeah, it's counterproductive.
Yeah, definitely have empathy, but you have to be careful where you bleed. Jesus bled in front of 3 before he bled in front of the crowd. And him bleeding for us and him sacrificing his life for us in front of a crowd was God ordained.
Mm-hmm.
So we shouldn't bleed in front of a crowd and say, God told me to. If it's God ordained, it's different. But in the garden, that was private.
Mm.
He bled in front of 3.
Never in the crowd.
Who was your 3? And it's this beautiful study that I did on Jesus wept.
Mm-hmm.
And its original language, it's not the shortest Bible verse.
Really?
It's not. The shortest Bible verse is in 1 Thessalonians 5. It's rejoice always. So that Jesus wept translates in its original language, Jesus shed tears.
Okay.
It changes the whole narrative of Jesus crying uncontrollably.
Wow.
He was in the presence of pressure, if you read that story.
Yeah.
He was not weeping. If you do the study, it will show you, it will tell you that Jesus shed tears.
So you're saying he experienced emotional stability?
Emotional stability.
Wow.
He was not crying uncontrollably.
Wow.
So in the midst of pressure, he still produced while showing empathy, but not crying uncontrollably.
Wow. That's great.
Jesus shed tears.
Yeah.
This has been We Have a Problem podcast. Babe, this has been an amazing time. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We will catch you on the next one.